you joined the fastest growing fantasy motorsports app yet? On Grid Rival, you can join leagues with your friends and manage your own fantasy team on what race fans are calling, hands down, the best fantasy motorsport app out there. F1 and MotoGP leagues are now live for the 2021 season. Joining a league on Grid Rival will make every race more exciting, more engaging, and of course, more competitive. Download Grid Rival now on your iPhone or Android smartphone. Grid Rival is an unofficial application and not associated with Formula One, MotoGP, or any of their athletes.
I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
If there's one thing every car guy hates, it's cleaning the garage. Do you want to take most of the time and hassle out of that job? Then call Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Agnes and her crew will have your garage, shop, basement, or even your porch looking great all the time. With unique patterns and designs, plus the ability to incorporate your logo or any artwork, your space will never have looked better. Installation is done in 1 day, guaranteed, and Zone Garage offers a 20-year warranty on the top coat. Their coatings are durable, anti-slipped, and impact resistant. Give them a call at 570-856-6067. That's 570-856-6067 for Zone Garage of Eastern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. This Independence Day weekend, kick your party off with a bang. DeWeather Center presents the first annual DeWeather Cares Charity Softball Classic presented by the National Racing Network. The Palmerton Boobies, DeWeather Center Bluecocks, Blue Mountain I-95ers, Pocono Front Platers, Schuylkill County Crackers, Reading Nurses, Catasauqua Blue Tits, and Beltsville Lake Monsters will take the field in Emerald. Find out more on Facebook at DeWeather Center. DeWeather Center, offensively accurate. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the North Wilkes-Barre Speedway, North Wilkes-Barre, North Carolina, where tonight the iRacing Sprint Car Cup will be taking on the North Wilkes-Barre Speedway. We saw the Silver Crown cars here one night ago. Now the Sprint cars are going to be taking to the racetrack. Let's tell you a little bit about the place as qualifications get underway. My name is Chris Graham with the National Racing Network. Pleased once again to be joined by Sebastian Kinder. We'll get Sebastian here on the mic in just a moment, but North Wilkes-Barre Speedway, as we mentioned, located in North Wilkes-Barre, North Carolina. 0.625 miles is your distance around on this one. 14 degrees of banking, originally opened in 1947. This is round number 2 of the 2021 Season 3 Championship. 45 laps the distance. Cautions are controlled by iRacing, and most importantly, caution laps do not count. These cars are going to burn off a whole lot of fuel if they're doing a bunch running under the caution flag. Restarts are single file. Lap cars will head to the back. The upcoming schedule for the Sprint cars has Lanier National Speedway up next week, followed by the Iowa Speedway, USA International, New Hampshire, and Irwindale. Sebastian, we're happy to bring you back onto the broadcast here. These cars are, we described them last night as little murder machines. These things are pretty beastly, to say the least.
Also, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here, and yes, welcome to your doom. A single mistake and you're here the wall.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly, quite frankly. These cars, we talked to some of the drivers pre-race, and they were all talking about the fact that even gear selection was going to make a big deal in whether these cars wanted to snap around into the outside retaining walls. And let's pick up Jeffrey Stanton here. He's one of the guys we talked to pre-race, put on a fantastic show last night, coming home second in the Silver Crowns. The sprint cars is really the series where he is pretty well dominant. Ryan Sellers quickest on the speed charts right now at a lap time of 16.3 seconds. 16:32 for Nick Nebbins, second quick. Steven Mastro, Derek Love, Jim Vig, your top five. Stanton comes across the line, 16.45 seconds. A little bit of a surprise to see Jeffrey Stanton all the way back in the 14th position. Here is the number one of Andre Castro. As always in the official series, the number plate that the drivers carry is their I rating. So the number one is the highest I rating in the event. Number two is going to be second highest, and so forth. Castro finishing his second lap, 16:47. Again, pretty surprising here to see some of the numbers. Josh Batista going to be easing his way around. His qualification run will be finished as well. Carter Russo, Dale Leakish Jr., unable to set a time here in qualifications. Both of those cars running into an issue. And let's get you the best lap times up on the screen here so you can see where your favorite is. Ryan Sellers will be your quick timer this evening, 16.298 seconds. Nick Nebbins, Steven Mastro, Derek Love, Jim Vig, your top five. Mark Keatman, Jason Brown, Skylar Brown, Dan Smith, and Chris Yankee will make up the top 10. See one of our buddies, Zach Evans, checking in here in the comments saying, one day I'll be back in an NRN top split broadcast. Yes, you will. I am absolutely for it here. Sebastian, we've got sprint cars are one of the lesser populated series on the iRacing platform. How about 2 20-car splits this evening? 40 drivers signing up for the sprint cars this evening. Good to see the participation numbers picking up in a pretty big way here.
That's actually insane to see a lot of people tuning in, and that maybe they may be not popular, but they have some fan base that is loving it. By the way, speaking of qualifying, it's very, very tight. I mean, top 18, only 3 tenths separating them. It's absolutely insane. We're in for a good one.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun race for sure, as we'll be getting ready for the qualification session to wrap up here in a little bit less than 30 seconds. Seeing Chuck Harder checking in the comments saying, good luck, D-Love. No Punterino. I don't think there's a guarantee of that going on here this evening. Or maybe a guarantee there will be some Punterino. Want to remind everybody, coming up next here on the National Racing Network, immediately at the conclusion of this race, if not sooner. Unfortunately, we do have a hard time limit here on the broadcast window for the sprint cars, because coming up next is going to be the TNT PM18 All Oval Series presented by Carolina Simworks. They will be taking on the Nashville Fairgrounds in the Indy Pro 2000 machinery. So we once again have some pretty fantastic racing coming up here tonight. Here is your starting grid for tonight's race presented by the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel. Ryan Sellers, Nick Nebbin going to make up the front row for this one. 2/100ths of a second separating those two cars here at the front of the field. Steven Mastro, Derek Love going to make up row number 2. Jim Vig and Mark Keatman, in row number 3. Jason Brown and Skylar Brown in row number 4. Dan Smith, Chris Yankee, row number 5. Joe Adams and Tommy L in row number 6. Row 7 is going to see Zane Scott and Jeffrey Stanton. Ron Quinzel, Andre Castro on row number 8. Josh Batista and Donnie Staubitz in row 9. Row 10 is going to have the aforementioned Carter Russo and Dale Leakish Jr. Leakish running out of the Lights Out Esports team. Russo running for the Mark Keatman Motorsports Racing team. 45 laps the distance. Everybody is out on the grid, and we're looking forward to a pretty spectacular show here. I want to thank everybody who's tuning in here on both the Facebook and the YouTube pages. Give us a shout in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. This one is definitely going to be a pretty spectacular event here. As always, sprint cars are one of my favorite race cars on the iRacing platform to talk about here. Stock block pushrod, 410 cubic inch V8s of all American iron. 820 bald eagles under the hood of these cars, direct drive transmissions. Only 90 inches long and 1,475 pounds means there is enough torque to feed the entire French army and have plenty of helpings to fill out the rest of the NATO alliance.
That was a good one.
Working lap number 2 under the caution flag here. And I'll tell you what, Seb, if you thought you saw a show last night in the Silver Crowns, just wait till we see what... We're going to rock your world here, brother.
They will rock me.
Off of
all the
turn...
will be in, so we're getting racing.
Off of turn number 4. Green flags in the air. We're underway here in the sprint cars.
Again, really calm start.
Yeah, 1 lap in the books. We're going to keep things under green flag conditions here. Ryan Sellers opening up a pretty solid gap here over Nick Nebb and Steven Mastro going to look to his inside through turns 3 and 4. Drivers talking about how you could go, oh, contact, Derek Love going around on the front straightaway. That will bring out an early caution flag. Looks like Dale Leakish Jr. may have been involved in that one as well. That is a very, very tough break for Derek Love. Early contender having an issue here. Let's check him out down the back straightaway. A little bit of contact with the 16. Punts him down to the inside wall. Looks like Leakus may have just gotten a little bit of assistance going around there.
That would be a racing sin for me. Like the 6 was maybe going a bit too hot, and the 16 may not have seen it. Like 6 Derek and 16 Jim. I think that's a standard racing incident. I suddenly cursed this one because I was just like, oh yeah, it's quite calm, and boom, already a caution. I mean, yesterday we were caution free, so it was bound to happen, Chris. It was bound to happen.
Yeah, that's one of the deals in the sprint cars. They are so easy to get wound up, and once you get them spinning around, you're really in a world of hurt here. Tell you a little bit about the point standing. Steven Mastro is your points leader after 1 week of the season, sitting on 147 championship points. Your race leader, Ryan Sellers, only 2 points back, sitting on 145. Jeffrey Stanton, third in points at 138. Jason Brown, Derek Love, all within about 20 points of the race leader, of the series leader here for the top 5. In 2 starts last week, Steven Mastro, 1 win, 1 top 5, an average finish of 8th. So obviously having a little bit of an issue in the other start. Jeffrey Stanton actually made 3 starts, no wins, only 1 top 5. Ryan Sellers, the model of consistency, picking up the win in the broadcast race 1 week ago. 1 win in 1 start, 1 top 5, 1 top 10, average start of 1st, average finish of 1st, and he led 54 of the 60 laps here 1 week ago. So lights are out on the iRacing safety car. We're going to be coming back to green flag racing, and it should be lap number 3 where we take the green flag once again. Sellers, Nebben, Mastro, Vig, and Brown, your top 5.
Right, let's see how they will handle this.
Sellers gets a good start. 5th place, Jason Brown already looking to the outside. Oh, man, they're going to try to go too wide.
on with time.
Yeah, I say good battles back through the field here. A lot of slicing and dicing, and we talked about last night how North Wilkesboro goes downhill on the front stretch, uphill on the back stretch. That really plays around with how these cars drive and makes them incredibly difficult to get a handle on.
Some really good passes here, and like I did drive the sprint car a bit, and just like it really wants you to get those guys side by side like this is a proof of their skill. Like, this is amazing to watch.
Yeah, some of the most talented drivers on the iRacing platform are driving the sprint cars here. The slightest bit too much throttle, they're going to snap around. You don't give it enough throttle, you're going to lose a ton of spots in the process. It is such a balancing act here. And they don't have any of the helpers that you see on the other open wheel cars. So no wings, no under trays. This is literally all motor. And basically the drive shaft runs right between the driver's legs. There's a couple of U-clamp safety devices, but that's basically it. The steering wheel sits almost upright. These things are just spectacular to watch. Good battle raging for the second position. Nick Nevin, Steven Mastro going to fight for this one. Mastro to the inside. He'll cleanly make the pass through turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, like I see, like there's battle everywhere. They're all a bit behind the 310s, except some few people, because like Ryan just went away. Like he's just gone right now. That is amazing.
Sellers already catching up and putting Derek Love another lap down after the early incident here. So Derek Love not having a very good night. In the State Line Customs number 6. Slide back in the pack here. This is a wreck waiting to happen. The 13 of Ron Quinzel, the 17 of Josh Batista. A couple of talented drivers, but you saw them wiggling the rear ends off the corner. And the key to handling in these cars is you got to get the fuel tank completely full. The problem is by the time you get to the end of the race, you've burned off most of the fuel that's in that tank, and all the weight that was on the back end of the car isn't there. So there's just nothing holding the back end down, trying to put all that power down to the racetrack.
Yeah, even if I didn't drive the sprint car a lot, I know because I was in the Aero Info Vintage IndyCar. They keep talking about how much when the fuel went out, it's so loose, and there's a little bit of a cluster there. And the worst is with those cautioners that won't count. I mean, it's more fuel burnt and not a lap done, so it makes the handle even worse. So the more caution there is, the worse it is for those drivers out there.
Just past the 1/3 distance mark. Lap number 16 of 45. Ryan Sellers holding on to a pretty sizable lead here over Steven Mastro. Call it 3/4 of a second as they come off at turn number 2. Mastro with a half second back to Nick Nebben. And then it's another full half second back to Jim Vig. Really not a lot going on here until we get back to this Hornet's Nest. Skylar Brown, Jason Brown, Andre Castro, Mark Keatman, Jeffrey Stanton. 6 cars, put them under a blanket down the backstretch.
Yeah, Chris, you described it perfectly. This is a Hornet's Nest. I wouldn't want to be in that. Either the guy in front or the guy behind. At the front of the pack and behind at the back of the pack. Like, you can relax, but if you're in the middle, like, oh, I wouldn't want to be there.
One of the things the drivers talked about pre-race was managing the tire temperatures. As always, managing the right side tires. Critical to your success in the sprint cars. But they weren't really sure which was going to be worse. It sort of felt like the entire right side was going to go away. The biggest difference between the sprint cars and the Silver Crown cars that we saw last night, in addition to having more motor under the hood, the Silver Crown cars have a weight jacker, so you could adjust those cars and really get the handling to your liking. The sprint cars, what you roll off the truck with is what you have. There is not a lot of adjustability and no adjustability inside the race car once you get underway. So, seeing the number 12 here, of Jason Brown. He's the number 8 in your timing and scoring window, sliding backwards just a little bit. Look back up towards the front of the field.
He has been in the back end for a lap now.
Nick Nevin, Jim Vig, Dan Smith, 3, 4, and 5. Can't believe we're already at the halfway point here. Cross flags went up last time by 24 of 45 are on the board right now.
Now they're catching Jim and Skylar are coming close to Nick and Steven and Ryan. They're just on their own. They're they're only tier A for those guys.
Sellers and Mastro are pretty well running their own little separate race here, and it's kind of interesting looking at the timing and scoring window. The best lap time for Ryan Sellers, 16.29 seconds. 16.73 was the last lap that Sellers turned, so he's already a half second slower, and we're only to the halfway point.
Wow. Oh, wow. Like Ryan and Steven, they are almost running the exact same pace. Only 0.03 of a second difference between those two for the advantage of Ryan. Meanwhile, Nick's still trying to do the best he can. I think he's not fast. For 100, he's not the fastest. I don't know. For Jim and Dan, that would be very important to maybe get past Nick if they still want a piece of that fight. Meanwhile, let's see.
Yep, looking back in the pack here, Andre Castro, Jeffrey Stanton, Jason Brown, Mark Keatman Jr. These cars still running nose to tail. Stanton going to look to the inside of Castro down the back straightaway. Not quite close enough to attempt the pass into turn number 3. Castro carries a ton more momentum out of the corner. Stanton really dives it hard into corner number 1. Well, turns 1 and 2, 3 distinctly different lines you can run here. Same is not true with turns 3 and 4. You really got to be around the bottom. Yeah, we heard it there, Seb. We're 3 wide and battling here, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Oh, Jim almost had thought that he would go there, but no. Wow, this is and like with the fuel gone away, like the car is more prone to snapping, and these guys are going 3 wide. What is this? This is amazing.
This is sprint car racing at its finest. Caution flag is out on the speedway. Lap number 32. Let's get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Yeah, Connor Russo having a little bit of trouble here in turns 3 and 4. See what happened. Back end got loose. Tag slapper smacks the outside wall. And unfortunately, Russo, a little bit of netcode there saved him. He's able to get the car spun back around, but definitely not the way you want to lose the race car. And I tell you what, Seb, we're going to see a lot of that as we come down here. You can see Steven Mastro, Nick Nebben, all the way down to the inside. What they're trying to do is get to the coolest parts of the racetrack. Try to get a little bit of cool temperature asphalt on those Hoosier tires.
Exactly. Yeah, they want to preserve those tires, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Just like it's not a really good deal having those cautions, because like they will be burning fuel, and yeah, it's the handling will be even worse than if they were going green. But like what's been pretty impressive, like they've been going for almost like 30 laps green, and that's insane considering those cars just wants you to go into the wall.
See if we can get a quick word here with Mark Keatman. And Mark, first time here on the National Racing Network broadcast. Welcome to you first, but how's the car feeling out there?
It's decent. There's not a whole lot of fall off. The front end's just bouncing really bad right now into 3. Pretty tight.
All right, but well, good luck to you the rest of the way here. We'll see how you can make your way forward here. You think you have anything for Jason and Jeffrey and some of those guys just ahead of you?
Yeah, maybe just Jason and Jeffrey. Other than that, I don't think I have enough speed to be up there and back with the top 5.
All right, Mark. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you checking in here. That's Mark Keatman, first time here on the NRN broadcast. Want to say a big welcome to him. And Chuck Harder checking in a little bit ago saying he's watching from Houston, Texas. Thank you very much for tuning in here, Chuck.
I hope he doesn't have a problem. That was a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
As the French jokes usually are. Anyway, field's going to get ready to go back to green. They should see the 1-to-go signal this next time by. Ryan Sellers.
My jerk and just like, okay.
Ryan Sellers going to be your race leader. Stephen Mastro, Nick Nebben, Dan Smith, Jim Vig, your top 5. Skylar Brown, Andre Castro, Jeffrey Stanton, Jason Brown, Mark Keatman will be the top 10 as we come back to Green Flag Racing here. This time by. Going to be a shootout now inside of 15 laps to go here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. This is the caution that Mastro and Nebben wanted to see. Lights are out. Sellers back on the loud pedal. He'll easily lead into turn number 1.
And Sellers been really good on those restarts, and that is really helping him. Meanwhile, Steven actually earlier. Oh, they're going too wide. They're almost going 3 wide. That's insane.
Everybody inside the top 10 is pretty well gotten single file. Jeffrey Stanton trying to catch up in on Andre Castro. Dan Smith looking at the back bumper and the tail tank, and Nick Nebben. He's not quite close enough to attempt that pass, and he's really going to have to push if he wants to get further up in the field here, as we're already working lap number 36. 10 to go. Oh, there's contact! The 7 goes around. Caution flag is out. Nick Nebben goes around in turns 3 and 4. Get you a look at the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. The Operation Sports Kneebonds entry. Little bit of contact there from the 47, and around goes Nick Nebben. Also may have had some issues a little bit further forward here as well.
I think
Motorsports beat 37 as Zane Scott. Yeah, he made pretty big contact with Keatman. Spins it around, bounces it off the inside wall. Clutch in and go, but unfortunately it looks like the 37 may be heading pit side here. 3 cars now currently sitting on the pit road. Nebben, Keatman, and Russo.
Yeah, so thinking about the 47 and the 7 angle, I think the 47 didn't expect. I think what happened is that the 7 hit the wall just before or scraped it, and the 47 didn't expect to have this quite of a run on him, and they ended up bumping.
Yeah, that's one of the things
that's a big
about the sprint cars. You make any contact whatsoever with those race cars, they're going to go around. You're going to be in a world of hurt if you're making contact in these cars, especially this late in the race with how light on fuel they're going to be.
Yeah, this is not what I want to see. Like, again, some caution laps, and again using fuel, and it's getting even lighter and lighter. They're doing more distance that they want to, and this will be some very interesting final few laps. I think we're like 37. So I think it's if I do my maths correctly, it's like 8 or 9 laps to go. So, but Ryan has been very good on those restarts. Like he nobody has his number yet.
Yeah, Ryan Sellers has been very, very quick here, and we're talking about lap times still in the 16.6 second range. They're a full half second off of where their quick lap times are from throughout the night here, but it's go time now. We're inside of 10 laps to go. The lights are out on the iRacing safety car. As a reminder, coming up next, 10 o'clock race start time here for the TNT Carolina SimWorks Series. The PM18 is taking on the Nashville Fairgrounds, and really looking forward to that one. But we got a little bit left to go here. Sellers quickly to the throttle. He's long gone into turn number 1. Everybody else going to stay single filed out behind him.
He has mastered those restarts. That is insane how Ryan has been so good on those restarts. I mean, I see some bit of action in the background. Oh, they're almost going 3 wide there.
Yeah, these cars are still bouncing off each other here. Trouble on the racetrack. Just saw the car at the bottom of the screen. Josh Batista going around. Here's the Hot Shoe Race Tour instant replay. Keep your eye on that number 17 machine. Bounces it off the outside wall. Huge hit. Gets drilled by the 13 of Ron Quinzel. He's able to get the car.
Now tempers are overflowing now.
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot of post-race beers being spread out amongst the crews here this evening. And that's kind of what you would expect here in this, sprint car racing is hard fought, elbows out. You really have to fight to defend your positions, and we're seeing a lot of the cause of these incidents late in the race basically is, drivers that are fighting really, really hard for those positions. And so far, as you said here, Seb, Ryan Sellers has absolutely mastered the restarts this evening. He's been very, very good. Steven Mastro is no slouch back behind Sellers. And it seems like Ryan has really just been able to grab the extra gear when he needs it. Almost like they have a little bit different gearing in each of those cars. That was something the drivers talked about pre-race, and it could be coming to play out here.
Yeah, they've been talking about that. Like, speaking of Ryan, like, let's go into his mind and how focused he must be to have. He's in the lead, so that must be pretty stressful in itself. In a car that literally wants your death, and he has to stay so focused to not only nail those laps, but also nail those restarts each time, trying to get 5, like a second or 8/10 of a lead in front, so he doesn't get bothered by the guys behind him. And like Ryan is doing such an amazing job, and the other guys will have to step up the game if they want that W.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty important thing there when you sort of think about it, is that you need to have the gap. If you give Steven Mastro, Dan Smith, Jim Vig, you give those guys a shot to claim a win or to claim a spot inside the top 5, they're absolutely going to pounce all over it. Vig has not had the tail end of season 2 and the start to season 3. Vig not even in the top 25 in points here. So he had a terrible week 1 week ago. He's looking to recover here, and he can make up a ton of points in this big strength of field broadcast race.
Oh, I know how it feels sometimes to have a bad week. You want to perform well. I mean, this is what happened when I wrecked out at Indy and finished second at Long Beach in Ezra IndyCar. But they're not talking about Ezra. Like, the basic lights are off, and they will go on to the green. Let's go. Oh, that was so smart. That was so smart of Ryan. He waited till the exact last moment, and Steven almost got overtaken by Dan.
Yeah, get Dan Smith all over the tail tank of Steven Mastro, and when you're not driving as fast forward when you're looking out the rear view mirror. Mastro now going to have to deal with Dan Smith. Jim Vig, Skyler Brown not going anywhere either. Going to be 5 laps to go this time by the start-finish line. Almost a little bit of contact there between second and third.
To be honest, I find the backing kicking out, but oh man. And remember, now the fuel must be super light now, so the slight mistake, and you're all win. Oh!
Oh, big contact!
Big
That's
one!
Skylar Brown and Jeffrey Stanton hard into the outside retaining wall. We will go under caution. And we're going to come back to have a very, very short shootout to wrap up this race. Keep your eye here on the 94 of Jeffrey Stanton. Skylar Brown actually had the incident ahead of him. But that was a huge hit for Jeffrey Stanton. Take a look at the 9 here. May have made a little bit of contact with the 16. Yeah, he did. Climbed up on the rear tail tank. And a brutal hit into the outside retaining wall for Skylar Brown.
Yeah, this is a moment where like you actually want to move up positions because like again, 3 laps to go, and this is where you must be aggressive because you need to get those positions. And for Jim, no, not Jim. Oh my god. Oh my god, I have a blank.
Yeah. Well, let's get Jeffrey Stanton in here in the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Infield Care Center. And Jeffrey, unfortunately, tough break for you here tonight. Not the way you wanted to end things.
I was trying to make my way for the field, and I had nowhere to go when Skylar had his incident up there and just plowed right into him. I had no time to react.
I say
nothing I could do. It just sucks. We were having really good races.
As I say, you were up towards the front here, and unfortunately not the way you want to go. But in these sprint cars, there really isn't much you can do to try and avoid a wreck either.
It happens in a moment's notice, and sometimes you get enough chance to do it, but it can be tough.
All right, Jeffrey. Well, tough break for you tonight here. Hopefully we're talking to you under some better circumstances next week.
Yep, thank you.
There you go. There's Jeffrey
Stanton. You could hear that frustration.
Yeah, that's the tough one. You feel like you've got a pretty good finish in your hands here, and something happens in front of you, and there's not a lot of way to get out of the way of it here. Which tough break there for Jeffrey Stanton is. Approaching about 10 minutes or so left in the broadcast window. We should get this race in completely, though, here on the National Racing Network. Ryan Sellers, Stephen Mastro, Dan Smith, Jim Vig, and Andre Castro will be your top 5 when we come back to green.
So, what will Ryan do? For the whole race, he started really early to get a jump on Stephen. Now, he waited a long time to restart. Now, what will he do? Will he wait, or will he straight floor in? Boom, 3 laps, let's go.
It's a great question because you can't screw this restart up. You know you don't have many of them left here. Sun setting over turn number 4. Pace car is in. Early to the loud pedal this time. Sellers is gone. It's going to be a half-second lead by the time they get to turn number 1.
Beautiful. That worked beautifully for Ryan. And now Steven will have to deal with Dan, Jim. And yep, Ryan has been really, really on top when it came to restarts.
2 laps to go here. Ryan Sellers is your race leader by 1 1/4 seconds over Stephen Mastro. Dan Smith just back behind him as well.
Inside, no.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go for race leader Ryan Sellers. He'll be clean through turns 1 and 2. These sprint cars look absolutely fantastic here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, and it is an absolutely fantastic performance tonight out of Ryan Sellers. He claims the win in round number 2 of the iRacing Sprint Car Cup.
Bravissimo. What a race from him. What a race. That was insane. Ryan has been perfect in his race management strategy. Restarts. Wow.
Let's get your final results here as Ryan Sellers going to make his way around to the front straightaway. Ryan Sellers is your winner by 0.3 of a second over Steven Mastro, Dan Smith, Andre Castro, Jason Brown. Your top 5. Tommy L., Dale Leakis, Chris Yankee, Joe Adams, and Josh Batista, the top 10. Mark Keatman, Ron Quinzel, Jim Viggs, Skylar Brown, Jeffrey Stanton back through 15th. Nick Nebben, Derek Love, Zane Scott, Carter Russo, and Dottie Staubitz will round out your 20-car field this evening. Take a look here. Looks like we have Steven Mastro already waiting for us here in the booth, so we'll come around and get a word with Steven here in just a moment. All right, Steven, congratulations here. A fantastic runner-up finish here tonight. I don't know that anybody was really going to touch Ryan this evening.
Yeah, it would have been tough. It was a tough race, man.
At a certain point, you ran a lot of laps under green flag conditions early in the race. Then we start to get the cautions late. Was it just a matter of gearing, or what was it about the restarts that it seemed like Ryan was able to pull the gap pretty quick?
I'm just a little bit. I got to work on my restarts. I'm typically pretty bad at them, but I think we were all in the same gear for the most part. 506, I think it was, and my car was just a lot better in the long run. I felt like if we got a long run, I might have been able to catch him. I don't know if I would have been able to pass him. But on those restarts, I was struggling.
Well, like we said, it was a good run for you tonight here, second place, and it's going to earn you a ton of championship points in back-to-back weeks. So a lot of momentum as we head into Lanier next weekend. A little bit similar of a racetrack here, a little bit more of a bull ring, though.
Yeah, Lanier's actually one of my better tracks, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Well, there you go. There's Steven Mastro. Oh, before we forget here, who do you got to thank here? See Hoosier Tire East on the side of that beautiful number 5 machine.
Yeah, thank Hoosier Tire East, Dave Kunzler Tire, Sheep Pasture Nursery, WHM Motorsports, and of course you guys for putting on the broadcast.
All right, Steven. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that one, and let's pick up our third place finisher here this evening. Mr. Dan Smith, you had a heck of a run there in the 47 machine. It's the 18 in timing and scoring, but not a bad run tonight to land yourself on the podium.
No, it wasn't too bad tonight, man. Before we get started, Chris, I really want to apologize to Nick Diebman. Man, I got into him. I just carried way too much speed into the corner and didn't expect him to blow up like that. And so I just want to give him a shout out and apologize for that, man.
Yeah, that one was a pretty tough deal, it looked like, where you kind of 2 cars going for one spot. And in turns 1 and 2, you can get away with that. 3 and 4, really not so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, jump ahead. I didn't mean to jump ahead in your interview, Chris, like that. I really wanted to apologize. Yeah, man, I mean, the whole race, that was kind of the tone. I was telling Ryan on our Discord and Rich and Jason that, man, the intensity level tonight was insane.
Well, you know what? It was a great run for you, and you entered the night 8th in points, but you're going to pick up a bunch here with how strong this field was tonight. Not often we see 40 sprint cars lining up registered for an iRacing strength of field server.
No, how insane was that, brother, to see 40 cars signed in, 2 splits on broadcast night. I thought that was pretty cool. I really didn't expect that at this track. And it's like I told you last season, I really don't points race much. I do a lot of stuff on the micro sprint level and travel with a lot of teams. So, Rich is out on USAC. So Ryan really has to carry the banner for this DRR Speedworks team. So really all the support goes towards him and, our other teammate, Jason Brown, and Derek Love's kind of running with us a little bit off and on the past 2 seasons. So we'll try to keep those guys up in points for you, Chris.
All right, bud. Well, there you go. Congratulations on the good finish tonight here, bud. Who do you want to thank?
I'd like to give a shout out to Setzer Fabricating down in Columbus, Indiana, Keith Coons Motorsports, especially the micro program. give a shout out to them. They helped me out a lot, man. Chris Santucci down at RELSI. All these people help me out in real life with what we do, and they support our iRacing habit here, man. And Chris, huge shout out to you for sticking with us for a second season. We'll try to make you proud, put on some good races for you, man.
I tell you what, brother, these things are an absolute blast. We appreciate it. And let's pick up our race winner tonight here, Ryan Sellers. Ryan, that number 2 machine was hooked up from the drop of the green flag, and I don't know if you put some special Go Fast juice in the tail tank of that thing or what tonight, but you were long gone.
Yeah, this is one of the tracks that I really favor a lot in this car. It's just hot, slick, slide around. That's definitely in my wheelhouse, and obviously it shows tonight.
That Leary construction number 2 was very, very good on the restarts. In fact, our color guy, Sebastian, here was commenting about how almost perfect you were on the restarts throughout the race. What was the key to that? Was that the gearing issues that we talked about?
Yeah, I think choice of gear, setup-wise, and then just knowing, you got to change up your restarts. You can't have the same restart every time because then, that people guess on that. So just keeping Steven on his toes, and I saw the second to last one that really bit him, and I hated to see that last caution come out, but in the end, it still paid off. Got a good restart on the last one, and still was able to pull it off.
Now you are going to be neck deep in a very tight points battle here with Steven Mastro as we head to Lanier next weekend. It's maybe a little bit too early to think about points racing, given that you have the drop weeks, but man, I'll tell you what, this is shaping up to be a fantastic championship battle with really 5 or 6 cars still with a shot.
For sure. I feel like we always have a nice, close battle. Obviously, you saw into last season, it almost went down to the last race. So, I mean, with a night like tonight with 40 cars and then splitting, and I know I got 210 points tonight, it's going to be definitely not one of the drop weeks this season. So that's good to know that I got that big of a point gap tonight. So it's not too early, but it is at the same time, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, it's one of those where you'll take it if you can get it, I guess was kind of the point there, was, get the big ones out of the way early here. So congratulations on the race win tonight. Who do you want to thank?
I want to thank you guys for broadcasting, obviously. Leary Construction, Leary Shock Technology, DRR Speedworks, Rich, Dan, Jason. We spent, a couple hours before the race tonight getting everybody dialed in, and it obviously shows. We finished all in the top 5 tonight, and that's pretty good for us. And Rich had some tough luck in second split, so that's kind of a bummer, but we'll rebound and get back after it on Thursday.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much, Ryan. We appreciate it here, bud. And we'll leave the replay up here on slow-mo for the burnouts that Ryan's about to launch into. But I'll tell you what, Sebastian, this was about as cool of a sprint car race as you're going to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not very experienced with sprint cars nor Silver Crowns, but it was still very fun to commentate and seeing how amazing those guys were. I mean, again, this car just wants to straight up kill you, and they were doing 3 wides, 2 wides at each corner for 2 laps. That was just amazing seeing those guys so talented. We had such a talented fit tonight, and it's been a pleasure to commentate on those.
Yeah, this one's been a lot of fun, and the party's not over yet. Coming up here in just a couple of minutes, it will be time for the Carolina SimWorks TNT Series. Jason Owens not in the field tonight, so it really and truly is going to be anybody's race, but we'll get to that one here in just a little bit because we got to get off the air here now and get ready to start talking about those guys. So for Sebastian Kinder and everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. We'll see you in about 10 minutes or so from the Nashville Fairgrounds.